Good evening, everybody. All right.
Todd Archer with ESPN. On the kick returns, as you've evolved as the season's gone on, it looks like having Turpin delay a little bit coming out has created some natural running lanes. Is that a bad read?
Yeah. No, you watch tape. Yeah, which you guys honestly ask great questions, and the critique I think is fantastic too. But I don't talk to Turp much about how he should run. We talk to him about how we're blocking it, where potential seams can be. But I try not to overcoach the instincts of the returner and how he gets it started. I know exactly what you're talking about, but I honestly try to steer clear of maybe overcoaching an instinctive runner and telling him the pace he should run at or the angles he should run at. I can't dive into the kick return schematics and plan of it. I think it's pretty unique, and our blockers are getting really good at it. But we let Turpin do his thing, and that's probably as honest of an answer as I can give you.
John Fassel with The Athletic. When things aren't going well, I know it doesn't really seem to. You don't seem to show it. You seem like you're always really positive. Has it been more difficult for you to be positive during this stretch?
That's a good question. Yeah, but I think I've always taken a lot of pride in my job as far as just trying to be really consistent for the players, because I think I don't know if they feed off of that, but I think somebody that talks to them on a consistent basis where, if we have a great game, on Monday we're not watching the tape and we're not on a high, like, man, this is amazing. And then if we come in and it wasn't a good game, we lost, or come on a low. We talked about, playing away where if we're 3-6 or 6-3, or the team's wearing green or the team's wearing red, or it's September or January, or if it's inside or outside, try to be really consistent with it. So I don't try to change my mode of operation, I guess, if you will. I try to encourage. I try to be positive. Sometimes I'll get after him pretty good. You might not see that behind closed doors, but it's more maybe on the constructive criticism side. But I think my goal is to try to be really consistent regardless of the wave that we're running at that moment. And it is a little bit hard to do sometimes as a coach, but I think I've worked hard at trying to be like that. Whether it's right or wrong, I don't know, but I think the players just respect maybe consistency and can feed off of that a little bit, where they don't get too high or low too. It's just the next game, the next team, the next rep, the next practice. I got to keep fighting and competing, keep it simple. I know I elaborated too much, but I'm kind of thinking in my head like, the best way to be for the players when things are going incredible, and the best way to be for the players when things aren't going so good.
Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. John, I don't know if you saw the Chiefs blocking the Denver Broncos field goal yesterday. When a play like that happens at the end of a game, especially on a shorter field goal relative to the NFL, what are your takeaways or teaching points for your players when you see something like that?
Yeah, I think when we watch field goal tape, I have about 5 or 6 meeting on Thursday with the field goal team. I got about a 5 or 6 meeting on Thursday with the field goal block team, and then all our other four-phase stuff. And we'll show some around the league stuff, and something that always makes our field goal tape when we're coaching the whole lineup is this is what a game-winning field goal rush looks like, because it's different when it just happens to be when there's a game winner on the line. The field goal block team comes at a little bit different pace than normal, so I always include that as part of my presentation on field goal protection. This is what the game winner looks like. Okay, everybody good? And so that's what they just overloaded it and just straight ambushed it. Sometimes there's no scheme to it. And field goal protection is hard. It's always 4-on-6, 4 protectors versus 6 rushers. And so 2 guys are taking a 2-on-1. That's just the legal alignments. But the takeaway is when the game's on the line, the competitiveness goes up to an extreme level, and it's field goal protection holding up versus field goal block, and you got to get it done. But that was a good rush.
Sadis of The Athletic. John, last night in the Detroit game, the kicker had somewhat of a similar journey, I would say, to Brandon.
Yep.
Do you feel like this is kind of the new? I think the Falcons kicker also something similar to that. Do you feel like this is kind of a new way to find kickers now?
Yeah, I think the other spring league just gives more guys an opportunity to show that they can do it. Because if it's not for that, you're just working out guys that are on the street or in private camps, but nothing can replicate, a snap, hold a kick with pressure. So I don't know if there's a different way to look at kickers. It's just more opportunities for kickers in different leagues to showcase themselves. And I know Bates did that, with the Michigan Panthers with Coach Nolan. He made some huge kicks, and he's doing it right now. And I'm really happy for him for sure. I don't know him at all, but just more opportunities for kickers, any players in different leagues. Turpin in the USFL, a couple of years ago, just gives guys an opportunity to put some good stuff on tape, and then, teams will find good players. But it is kind of like Brandon last year, Bates this year, and pretty cool stuff. Brandon's doing pretty good still this year.
Nick Harris, Forward Star Telegram. With Brandon, confidence is obviously huge for a kicker. He seems to have a lot of it right now. Yep. Is there anything maybe that I guess shielding is probably the wrong word, but shielding from any negativity that kind of breeds just from being in this building and the losses that have kind of come about over the course of the last few weeks for a unit like that specifically? That's playing so well?
No, I think Brandon's always just very in tune with his job. He doesn't let any external factors affect his confidence or his anything. I think it's fantastic. I don't feel like there's any negativity in our building. I know there's a lot of it outside of our building.
That's more so what I meant.
Yeah.
Coming in,
Yeah, no, but in our building, I think, guys are upset, guys are frustrated, but I don't feel like there's anything negative in our locker room. But yeah, I think with all the specialists, I think it's such a unique, battery of players that they stay locked into their job, and they feel the ebb and flows of the team, but it's such a specific thing that they do that they just got to do their job, and then they're rooting on the sideline the rest of the game for their buddies to do their best too. But no, they're pros. Brian Anger, had a fantastic game yesterday with a lot of unique things that happened in that game on punt, and then Trent is just a staple, and Brandon's fantastic too. So I'm proud of those guys, just staying the course and doing our normal work Wednesday after Thursday after Sunday.
Babe Lofberg, 105.3 The Fan. John, I always think you play the game that's presented to you that day because you think it's going to be this way and it turns the other way. But,
for sure, yeah.
So when you saw the offense struggling, did you, Turpin, just give them the green light and say, we got to generate something here?
On the kick returns?
Yes.
Yeah. That was honestly kind of the game plan going in, and that's kind of the way it's been the last couple of weeks, so it wasn't unique to this game. We just feel like we have somebody in the back end that can, give us field position boosts. We're trying to score, but we're also trying to, anytime we return it, the goal is to get past the touchback line, which is the 30, and if we can get to the 40, then we just gain a first down for the offense. So that's kind of the mindset, but we got an electric guy back there, and our blockers know it, so they're giving all they got. But I wouldn't be surprised, to see him have some more chances. We got to get the punt return opportunities going, and that's the harder one to figure out is, how to get a punter to hit it to us because they can go out of bounds, high ball, fair catch. The kickoffs, you might just have to back up and it's in play. But he's special, man. He's really special. And the blockers love him, and it's a good relationship between returner, blocker, returner. We gotta get one across that goal line somehow.
Brad?
John, Brad Shamler.
Hey, Brad.
Fan. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think you've got a lot to do with the ball security drills in practice with what's been going on the last few weeks. Have you looked at or thought about doing anything differently in that regard?
Yeah, good question, Brad. So every Thursday, Coach has us do a 6-minute team fundamental period. We break up the non-O-line, D-line into 3 groups, and we go through a tackling station, a contested catch station, and a ball security station. And then about 2 weeks ago, we added it to Wednesday's practice. So we got about a 5-minute period, team fundamentals, and on Wednesday, it's a tackling, with really, Coach puts me in charge of it, and whatever I see the trends around the league are on a week-by-week basis, we just put our guys in certain positions, whether it's as a tackler, as it's a ball extractor, or a ball security runner. We try to just simulate some of the majors that we see on tape and put ourselves in those positions. And obviously, it doesn't feel like it's coming to fruition with some of our, takeaway-giveaway ratio. But I don't think that means we scrap it. I think it means we just keep doubling down and keep hammering the tackling, the ball security, the contested catch, and the ball extraction part of it. It's not really anything different than we've done the last 4 or 5 years. We actually added to it on Wednesday just to try to ante up, our attentiveness and intentional work with that. So doing anything different, Brad, I don't think anything different because we do different drills every single day, every single week, just based on what's on tape. So we just keep looking at, what the trends are and the themes are around the league as it pertains to all of those different aspects. And we take it seriously, and we really think about the drill setup and how to concoct it for those 5 or 6 minutes we get at it. But we got to keep working harder at it because, our takeaway giveaway right now has been killing us the last couple of weeks, and that's another thing that we all take a lot of pride in, and I do, just as far as like setting it up and coming up with what we do.
This has not been a fumbling team.
Right.
So when you have a day like yesterday, do you think you're cursed, or what goes through your mind?
Yeah, no, I think it's football that goes through my mind. Zeke on the goal line, I get the TV copy of it, and how the balls spill out, whether it's the Ferg or the Zeke. What are the tacklers doing to try to get that out? Sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's not. But nope, not a curse. It's football, and we just got to tighten it up.
All right, thanks everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Thanks, guys, gals.